Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back. We are back, good people. Absolutely. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kung Fu Chronicles. My name is Sifu For those that don't know, yeah, we're back. Friday nights. All right, back to it, baby. Back live, back again. Waz is back. Tell a friend. And you know it's been a couple weeks, and I apologize. I apologize. It's been frantic here. Yes. Clap it up for yourselves for joining in tonight. Yeah, I'm going to give everyone a couple some people in here live so we can do this thing. Yes, welcome back, Kung Fu Chronicles. Hope everyone's having a great week, a good time. I am back live, and I know it's been a couple weeks, like I said, so I wanted to get things started off right, welcoming everyone back. And we're back to our weekly lives, okay? I promise we're not going away for a minute again, all right? Been hectic here, as you can imagine, on the channel, everywhere else. So I want to say thank you all for riding with me. The support has been tremendous, and I appreciate you all. Cannot do this without you guys. So give it up for yourselves. I'm going to give it up for you. So let me get right into it. It is AAPI month, so happy AAPI month. That means it's Asian American Pacific Islander month. Want to acknowledge that. It's for all my folks out there celebrating and that are of Asian and Asian American descent and Pacific Islanders. Shout out especially to those that I know. Kumu Michelle Manu, how are you? If you're out there tuning in. Actually, speaking of Kumu Michelle Manu, for those that don't know, I just saw that she was on a podcast the other day, so you guys should check that one out. I don't have the information in front of me. I would direct you, I would send you directly there. But I checked out a little bit, and she talks about her history. I believe the interview is on Spotify. But happy AAPI month. How is everybody? How are you guys? It's been a while. You guys need to check in and let me know what's going on with you guys. Comment down below. Questions, comments, concerns, anything specifically that you've seen on the channel lately that you're happy about, that you're maybe not happy about. Just letting you guys personally know, life's been happening for me. So as most of you guys know that are my usual viewers, I'm going through a process for my black belt, my second degree black belt in Krav Maga. And for those that don't know, I practice both Kung Fu and Krav Maga. Those two arts, I've been training in Krav Maga, though, specifically for the last 6 years. The last 25 has been more Kung Fu, 20 plus. It's almost been 25. Yeah, so I'm that much of an old head and been doing this for a minute. But we got stuff to talk about tonight really quick. I don't want to take too much time, okay? I want to roll right into things. First and foremost, I've got to say that I'm going to open things up to you guys, the audience, tonight. So feel free to give me your feedback on the channel, what you like, what you don't like. You can always drop a comment on the side. I think I've got a couple already to address, and I will. This week, though, I want to start coming in hot. My interview with Sifu Mimi Chan from the Wah Lum Temple down in Orlando. It was so cool getting to talk to her. The complete interview is now up on the channel if you haven't seen it already. I'm going to give you a couple of clips from the actual interview, though. Sifu Mimi talked about her Kung Fu legacy and her beginnings as a child of Kung Fu. Her dad is Grandmaster PUNCHIN. So he's been training and instructing for many, many years. The guy's a pioneer in his own right down there in Orlando. The Wah Lum Temple is pretty famous. The Wah Lum praying mantis system, most people know of it, especially if you live in Florida or other parts that are all over the world. Technically, he is also my Qigong, because my instructor, my Sifu, Master Kenneth Edwards, also studied under him for a little while. So when I first started training in Kung Fu, I started in Wah Lum Mantis. So didn't learn that many forms or whatever before we transitioned over to Eagle Claw. But say that to say, there is a connection there. So spoke to Sifu Mimi, and I will play just a couple clips from the interview so you guys can check it out. And then again, the complete interview I'll leave the link down below so you can check it out in your own time.
that aren't as familiar with Wah Lum versus say 7-Star? What are some of the main differences?
Yeah, well, the Wah Lum system is a family style system that my father learned from his master, who was a traveling bodyguard slash, I don't want to say assassin, but you know.
Not assassins.
He was like one of those, like he's right out of the kung fu movies, you know. And so he came from the north, though. So when my father is from southern China, he was exposed to a northern style. And so in northern kung fu, in northern praying mantis, it's my grandmaster's, my father's master, his family style combined with northern mantis, and at the Wah Lum temple where he trained. And so it's also called the Wah Lum Tam Tui Northern Praying Mantis system. And so for us, it's a lot of leg use. It's a lot of, there are some acrobatics, which lent later to, of course, my career in entertainment and performing. But there's definitely differences because of the emphasis more on that northern style versus like kind of a southern style of mantis.
Yeah. Oh my God. When I used to study briefly Wah Lum, was like those stances and holding those stances used to be like, oh my God, my knees would be shaking, wobbling after like an hour plus of class. And that was just an hour plus. So I never had the opportunity to train at like the temple where it was like all day and like, you know.
Yes. We tease that it's like, we say that it's northern, you know, our northern style, 70%, you know, legs and emphasis and 30% hand movements. But we're like, sometimes it just feels like 100% legs and 30%. Yeah. Because it's very, very leg intensive. You know, we have a lot of people that cross train, and we're always like, look, you don't need to do leg day. If you're doing Wah Lum, you don't need to do leg day. You're going to get it here. So you can focus on your full body stuff, but it's very leg intensive. It is true.
So had a really good time speaking to Sifu Mimi about the Wah Lum temple, about her lineage there. So basically she's now taken over for her dad as head instructor down there. So we got to talk about so much stuff. For those that don't know, she was also the original model for the animated Mulan movie that came out in 1998, which is also why a lot of people know of her. But she did a documentary about her dad back in like 2011, 2012, I think. So we're talking like 12 years ago. I believe it's available on Hulu or Amazon, one of the two. I saw the documentary a couple of years ago, so I got to speak to her about that.
How did that project all, start for you? And was it your brainchild or walk me through that a little bit.
Yeah. So in the 90s, when I started to kind of, I finished my school. I decided I was going to be at the temple full time. I did a stint out in Hollywood and things like that. But I really, really knew my path was like being at the temple. And I figured one way for me to ensure that all of my father's footage and archival footage and all of the resources that he would like slowly bring out of the garage in Florida in 100-degree weather, where I'm like, what, this is super 8mm film, it's gonna be destroyed. And so I was like, I need to preserve all of this. And so I just started a catalog over the years. And it was just like something in the back of my mind that said, okay, one day I'll sit down. It's kind of like that novel that that's coming, right? Like I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do this project. And as I got more experience in just kind of the film industry and world, I had to kind of self-teach myself, like the whole editing bit and all that. And back in 2000s, it was not as user-friendly as it is now. Right. So, but it was always in the back of my mind that I wanted to make sure that his story was told in a visual way, because of course, there's been a lot of interviews, the early Inside Kung Fu magazines, Black Belt magazines, everyone always talks about seeing him in those magazines and just having those memories from the 70s and 80s. But Kung Fu is such a visual art form, and he's such a visual performer and so dynamic. And so I knew that like video and like telling his story through a documentary was the way to go. And so I think it was like 10 years of just compiling footage, and then one day just ripping off the Band-Aid and then sitting myself down and saying like, this is it, I'm just gonna focus on this and I'm gonna work on it. And so we finally got that done in 2012 was the quote unquote premiere for it. So it was quite an undertaking. And like any other piece of art, when you look at it now, you're like, oh, I would have done this, or I would change this, I'd make this better. But otherwise, I think if I had kept going down that path, it would still not be released. So yeah, I'm grateful that it's out in the world and that everyone can watch it on Amazon and it can be shared with everyone. And it did have distribution for a while through different channels like Hulu and things like that. So yeah,
Right.
it's been great to be able to share this with so many people.
It's really cool because your dad is still active, right? Still teaching from time to time, or is he semi-retired?
Yeah. So he's mostly he works on the Tai Chi program, but he will get in there if he's walking by and the Kung Fu students aren't doing something right. He will make sure to let them and us know. And he is actually just still, as he says at the end of the film, he goes to the temple every day. He lights his incense to pay respect to the ancestors and show gratitude. And he cleans the temple every morning. Wow. Here in Florida, there's a lot of trees and leaves, and his goal is to make sure that they do not touch the ground. And so he's just really always caretaking for Wah Lum in whatever way that means in different iterations. But yeah, he's still very physically active. So we're grateful for that.
Yeah, but it's so funny. My Sifu told me this story years ago, and it always I always kept it. He said when he was down at the Wah Lum temple, as a bunch of the guys were out there, and you guys have the poles that go all the way up and they come down. So he was just he said, yeah, guys were struggling, and it was hot summer days. They go up halfway. I'm I can't go up a third of the way. And he said one day your dad just came out. It's what's wrong? It's Sifu, it's so hard. And he said your dad just hopped all the way up to the top and did a stance that came all the way down. He's like, but whatever, I'm an old man. Anyway, carry on.
Honestly, I think I saw him doing that till he was about 70 at the very highest level. And yeah, his age does never usually reflect his physicality anyway, but it's pretty remarkable, really.
Yeah. Shout out again to Sifu Mimi. And yeah, if you're watching and just happen to know that movie clip that I used, throw it in the comments there for all my Kung Fu movie heads. Old classic there. But again, we talked about so many different subjects. The interview is on the page, on my channel. I'll leave the link down below, as I said again. She's, of course, the head instructor down at the Wah Lum Temple down in Orlando. Had a really good time chatting it up with her. And as I mentioned, she was the original model for the animated movie Mulan, which starred, her and so many other people. Eddie Murphy was in that movie years ago. He was the voice of one of the characters. So here she is talking a little bit about the movie. Actually, wait, I think we're talking here about the tournament scene.
So a little bit of your old stuff here.
Yeah, so we get to talk a little bit about the tournament life. I talked to her. I asked her how important it was for the Wah Lum school to participate in tournaments, and is it still as big of a deal? And she said definitely, and because it gets the students out there, and they've got their own demo team down in Orlando. That's all they do. They go around demoing it in different businesses and different events and things like that. So anyway, let me shut up and you guys watch.
It's cool.
I look so young with my braid. That was my signature competition hair.
Yes. Nice.
Mainly because I could do that one myself.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that was awesome stuff. Is it fun, just looking back and kind of going, you're almost like your body of work sometimes? Do you ever just take time and go through some of your stuff and be like, wow? It's
I'm a little critical. I'm judging myself right now.
Oh no, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm going, wow, this is probably on VHS somewhere, is what I'm thinking. That's how old
Right on.
No, it is fun to watch because I don't do it very often. So this is actually quite a treat. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, so again, so much fun speaking with her. That part's about the tournament. And again, we talked about so many other things. So if you get a chance to check out the interview, leave it down in the link. And while I'm here, questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them, guys. I'm going to address a few comments that I got offline even, and talk to you guys about some future plans for the channel and things we're trying to work on behind the scenes. And we, meaning pretty much me, because it's pretty much right now a one-man show, but it's all good because I feel the love. Trust me, your support is so noted, and I think each and every one of you guys comments, good and bad, I take them all because I really try to be very objective about this thing, because I'm not the end all be all, and I like to learn like everybody else. Yes, I've got experience in martial arts, especially Kung Fu and martial arts in general with my background, but this YouTube thing is a new animal to me. So I'm always trying to get better at it and learn and get better. So let me give you the final piece to the puzzle here. This is Sifu Mimi, as promised, talking about Mulan. She was the original model for the 98 animated movie, as I talked to you guys about.
No, but just give me like the brief story of it. I know you've talked about it to death.
I get it, and honestly, I've learned to embrace that. Disney, being a Disney princess, like part. Because I feel like it's taken 3 of us to make a Mulan, and I feel like I'm a very small part of that, but grateful to be a part of that. And so I'm always happy to kind of share that connectivity. But yes, because we're in Orlando, Florida, and at that time Animation Studios was here doing projects and films, it was a part of the era where Disney would bring in anything authentic around the project. So they were bringing in a lot of atmosphere for them. And we actually went to do a Tai Chi seminar for the animation team, so they could just kind of like see some of the movement, but also kind of just get the ambience of being absorbed into the Chinese culture. And at that time, they were still looking for the quote unquote face of Mulan, or how they wanted her to look and be. And Mark Hen, who of course is a genius animator who did all the Disney princesses at the time, was there, and they brought me in to meet him. And to quote his words in one of the articles, it's like Mulan walked into the room and I felt immediately like this was the right fit, because at the time I was around the same age as her character would be, and I did martial arts. My father did martial arts. It was just a lot of parallels, but he just kind of liked the essence of it, I guess. And then from there, I did character modeling, where I would go in and do still poses, and the animation team would draw me and practice. And then the martial arts video reference especially was crucial, because I would, my cousin and I, he was Shang, we choreographed all the martial arts sequences, and then we would do them as if they were filming for a movie. So we'd have to wear kind of similar movement for the skirt if she's going to kick or whatever, or if she's in the pants. So I had to do all the choreography, and they'd video that and then use that as reference. This is before motion capture, so no mocap. This was like right on the cusp of it. I think the technology was around, but they were really proud that that was not used for this, that this was like literally the artist just watching over and over and over and then drawing from that. And so that was obviously an incredible experience. And at the time, I don't think I realized how long that would stick with me and how incredible it even was then.
It's iconic. It's Disney. It's like one of their last quote unquote animated movies, right? At the time, because it was a 98. Right? Yes, traditional animation. It was one of the last ones. It was all done in Orlando, which was huge for the studios here. And I always like to say, first Disney princess that saves the day and didn't have to get saved, right? So she's kind of changed the narrative for a lot of the really amazing, strong female Disney princess characters to come. And, always proud of that. Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, I wasn't really a big Disney kid, but I saw some things, but I remember because of my love for martial arts, I was like, I gotta see Mulan. And back then, not knowing even your connection to it, it was just like cool to watch it. And it did seem, I think it connected with me. It's like, it seems like some of these moves are really authentic. They must have actually gotten real martial artists to do this versus just animating and going off of like stills or whatever. So it was really fun. As you look back, if you've ever checked the movie out from time to time, do you look back and go, are you critical of did they get that move right, or did I could have done this better, or did you really just are pleased with the whole thing?
I'm pleased overall with the whole thing, because I feel like for the time especially, it was a real breakthrough moment, and it was something that was very pivotal. I will say there's always the fun fact in this, and I don't know if we'll get to it in this part, but where she holds the sword, I did the game fingers, and they changed it to her doing this, right? And so a lot of times I'll pose like that for the, for Comic-Con things, whatever, but they did change that because I think it made sense for them, for her to just do that movement. But again, I feel like also there's some artistic liberty for animators that I don't know how to draw anything, right? And so I don't know how things to play for animation. So I feel like I always like to talk about that because there's such a specificity to the traditional weapon part of it, right? But I remember this so clearly, like, at the time, we did have a quote unquote coordinator, but he was more an expert in, like, there it is.
Oh,
right?
there it is.
More of an expert
the one
in, like,
finger.
yeah, the one finger. It should be here, right?
Don't concentrate on the finger.
Yeah. So really good conversation. As I said to you guys before, you guys should check it out. Just give you a couple of pieces there. Sifu Mimi Chan, want to thank her again personally for, you know, blessing me with the time to go ahead and do that interview. Big ups, big ups, big ups, big ups. And let me know if you guys checked out the interview. You're planning on doing it. It's on the channel. It's now on there. I'll leave the link down below, as I mentioned before. I appreciate you guys all for supporting. But we got a couple more things to talk about. So yes, indeed, check out that interview. But other martial arts news, okay? Because I want to get to a few things tonight. And if I haven't asked you to already, why don't you do me a favor?
Don't just stand there, like and subscribe.
Oh, gosh,
Don't just stand there, like and subscribe.
Give me a solid. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down there. But yeah, let's talk a little more. I've got some other martial arts news because whether you guys know it or not, the Martial Arts History Museum, it's a big deal out here in LA because it's one of the only museums of its kind. It's a staple out here. That was the word I was looking for. Now the museum has moved. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. It's President and CEO Michael Matsuda, who, you know, I've talked to on the channel and even on the live as they were getting things ready. They're getting prepared to do their grand opening. They've done a soft opening. In fact, that was last month, and then it happened to be the weekend that I went to New York, so I couldn't attend. But I have since gone to the new location, and it's amazing. It's like triple the size, actually 4 times the size of what it used to be out here out in Burbank. And I know it's 4 times the size because Michael Matsuda, the president, has talked about that. And he updates weekly, almost probably daily, I think, maybe. But I know I saw him update, do an update today on his own Instagram. You guys should follow him because he's always got information on the museum. But that being said, I'm talking about that because that's martial arts news this week. I'm going back to the Martial Arts History Museum, the new location in Glendale. I'm kind of excited. I'm going to speak with President CEO Michael Matsuda again. He's going to give us a personalized tour, and we're going to do a special episode of Kung Fu Chronicles there. And of course, we'll give you all the updates and everything that's new happening at the museum. For those that aren't as acclimated with the museum, this is my video of the old museum. And again, I'll leave this link to this video if you've never checked it out. I did this about a year ago, almost a year ago. Yeah, I can look down here. It says 11 months ago. And I visited the museum, but it says about a year ago exactly that I visited the original location in Burbank, which I was glad to do because it was really a great experience. Oh, good. You guys get to see some of my analytics on the side. That's very fun. So you can see the things that I get to see. The YouTube side is very interesting, guys. When you're in this, it's like, it's not just about views and subscribers. You got to dig deep to see that you're producing the right content for people to enjoy. That being said, let me play a little bit here so you guys can get a feel of the old museum, and then we'll talk about what's new at the new location. All right, yeah, so you get the vibe. And I had a great time actually at the original museum. That was so much fun. I got to learn a whole bunch, not only about the martial arts history, what they've got going on there. And the actual museum has been in the city of Burbank, at least at first, since 1999. So, you're talking, 25 years almost of history. And now they've moved officially to Glendale. And the president CEO is still doing his thing. So I'm happy for them. I'm going to get a chance to talk to him, go out there this week and do a special episode from the museum. And again, as I mentioned before, the thing is 3 times the size of what it used to be. So they're planning already a grand opening. They're going to have huge events out there, screenings. They used to have an area where they screened and did special events out in the back of the museum, which was like a little small spot where they just set up chairs and then set up the screen and everything, so they could do like award presentations and all that and screenings, I guess. But now they've got a whole designated area that's going to be their screening area. So a lot of cool things to look forward to. And Dragon Fest, of course, is coming up in August again. So I'm looking forward to going to that. I went to my first one last year. That was so much fun. So I'm definitely going back because there's so many, not only old school, new school martial artists and kind of icons in the game that go out there and routinely attend this thing. Namely, people like Benny the Jet Urquidez, Don the Dragon Wilson, even Grandmaster Cynthia Rothrock, who I talked to. These are the first times I actually got to talk to some of those people. I talked to Don Wilson and Benny the Jet beforehand, but I never actually met Cynthia Rothrock until Dragon Fest last year. And then, of course, because of that relationship, I got to actually get her on the channel for you guys so that we could have a up close and personal interview, which was amazing and great. If you haven't checked that interview out, okay, I'll link that as well. Plug tonight, guys, because for people that are just coming in and maybe you're just new to the channel and haven't seen anything I've done before, I want you all to feel like it's a big family. You're all at home here. You're all welcome here. You always will know that, okay? That's one thing about me. And there's no egos. It's one thing about me, too. I leave my ego at the door. As soon as I turn this live on, I come in here as a student of the game, not as a professor of the game, because I'm so far from that, be it martial arts, my professional career, or even just doing this on YouTube, having a platform here. I'm a student of the game, so you guys should all know that. I'm going to give you another piece. We talked about Dragon Fest last time on this interview, so I wanted to give you that piece here and then just give you guys a feel for the museum as well, and then we'll kind of wrap things up by talking about what I'm going to speak on as I go up to the new location again and record this new episode.
See, Dragon Fest is one of your biggest events that you guys have. How did that all start? You just wanted an annual event that you...
Yeah, Dragon Fest is our biggest fundraiser. Okay. Yeah, Dragon Fest was started by Gerald Okamura, a beautiful man, does Kung Fu Sansu. I knew Gerald many, many years ago. And he wanted to do a little convention to that. I think it was in San Dimas where he started. And he had a little room and had a few tables, and that was Dragon Fest, the start of it. You walked around, say hello, and that was it. And then, but over the years, it built up and got a huge following. And then it became part of Inside Kung Fu. They had a full page ad for it, and it got bigger and bigger, which is really nice. And they got more big stars and all that, which is really great. And so he ended up through the years at the Glendale Civic Auditorium, and that's where he ended it. He did it for 9 years. Fantastic site. And we did my friend and I, Firebores, back in the day when the websites were new, we were grabbing all the .coms for martial artists. We were, we were grabbing everyone not because we wanted to sell it. We wanted to hold it so someone else wouldn't grab it.
Back when you could get the .com.
Right.
Now you can't find the .com.
I know. I kick myself for not getting martialarts.com. I do. Right. I had the chance to get it for $1,000, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I should have done it.
I gotcha.
But anyway, we got dragonfest.com because we didn't want it lost, and we got a bunch of .coms for a lot of people. Good. And Dragon Fest was one of them. And since we got it, I said, Gerald, let me build the website for you. And he said, oh, great. Okay. So that's what I did. I built the website every year for Gerald, and I had a booth there. So Gerald had the event for 9 years. It was a fantastic event. And then he closed it after the 9th year.
Okay, right.
So during that time, it was dead for 10 years. Nobody did anything.
Okay. I was wondering, how did you pick it back up?
Yeah. So when we had the museum, which we started in '99, and by that time, I think that was toward the end of Dragon Fest, 2003 or something like that. I don't remember the date. And so a little overlap there. And then everybody kept bugging me. You need to pick up Dragon Fest.
And he did pick up Dragon Fest. So Dragon Fest has officially been back for the last 2+ years. They did it last year, the year before that. Now they had a break because of COVID. So that is back, and I will be back at the museum this week, and I'm going to be on the scene talking to the president and CEO, Mr. Michael Matsuda again. He's been so gracious as to invite me out there. So coming out there, and I'm excited. We're going to film. It's going to be a personalized tour, as I mentioned before, and we're going to get to check things out. The new museum, it looks great. Spoiler alert, like I said, I've been there already to the new location, and it's 4 times the size of what it used to be. So we're talking huge. If you've been to the original one in Burbank, this one blows it away because the space that they've got. This will be a completely amazing layout. And they're in the heart of Glendale, like downtown Glendale. If you're familiar with the area, it's near where the Galleria Mall is. A lot of foot traffic. Once they get their signage up, it's going to blow up. It's going to be huge, as it should be. It really is a place where I got to give the staff and Michael Matsuda a lot of credit, because it's pretty much been his thing all these years, and he deserves accolades because the amount of history and knowledge and stuff, and all of the archival gear and things, and just there's videos and all that are there, and things that people can just learn going to the museum about the martial arts in general, from movies to just iconic figures in the martial arts game, from all aspects. So not just China, Japan, Okinawa, the Asian aspects, but we're talking now moving, African, Indonesian, Polynesian, all of those origin-based countries represented, and areas, I should say, represented at this new location. So I'm really excited for everybody to finally get out there when they do the grand opening. I know a few people have been out there because, again, as I mentioned, they did a soft opening a month ago, but now they're gearing up to do their grand opening. So I'll be out there. Just a few things to know as I wrap things up tonight, guys. And thanks so much again for tuning in. Give yourselves a round of applause for being out here. I like you guys. I like you. I see you. I like you. I love that you're here. Give yourself some props. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But a couple things you guys can look forward to if you're planning on visiting the museum. Like I said, mentioned, there's a new theater, okay, for screenings, because it's spring again, right? But for screenings, there's a new theater, and it's a nice size. So it's if you're familiar with that old area that they used to screen films at and have the presentations, this double that size almost. A whole lot of space. You're not crouched in a crunched in a spot anymore. That's very exciting. Also, they've got new sections. So you've got different aspects of martial arts represented. You've got now coming up, and they're working on an African American section. So the BKF's represented, I saw for myself. The Black Karate Federation. They've got some of their gear up from there, and they're going to talk about those icons from that point. A new Disney section that they're creating. So Disney movies that are feature martial arts, like Mulan, like we talked about, and other ones, and a special Disney section that Mr. Michael Matsuda talked about developing. They're developing that. And then the screening, speaking of the screening section, they're going to have a special screening of, this is a good thing to know, the movie Best of the Best, old school movie, 1989. Yeah, get your history straight. Eric Roberts. My gosh. So Eric Roberts, James Earl Jones, okay, Philip Yee, his brother, and so Philip Ree, I'm sorry, and his brother Simon were both the main characters in that movie. They played rivals in the movies, but they're actually brothers in real life. So they're going to screen that movie. Philip and Simon will be there to talk about the movie after they screen it. So for anybody that's a fan of that movie, or just a fan of Taekwondo, that movie pretty much put Taekwondo on the map, because there's really a lot of Taekwondo-based styling in that movie. It's about an American Taekwondo team or martial art team that went to go face an Okinawan or a team from Japan, and they faced in these championships, these finals, and it got really, really good. It's a really great kind of pull your strings kind of movie, but at the same time, the action is really good. You got Eric Roberts in there. Tommy, no! People know that reference. Who, yes, is Julia Roberts' brother, but yes, but at the same time, he's a star in his own right. He was in The Dark Knight. He's been in a lot of other movies, but yeah. Best of the Best. He was actually in Best of the Best 2. There's like 4 of those things. 2 of those made it to the theater, and 2 were like just straight to video. That doesn't even matter, guys. If you're interested in martial arts at all, this is a great opportunity. I'm going to get more information about that, and we'll put it on the video form when I get the video complete and edited and put up on the channel. We'll talk about that screening, and they're going to do so many other screenings. So you guys have the opportunity to get out there and check things out for yourself. So I'm going to leave things there tonight. I wanted to just get back on here live. Thank you all for hanging with me. Being a part of this. Yeah, I appreciate you guys all. I'm on delay mode tonight, guys. Even my sound effects are like, what's going on? But if nothing else, guys.
Don't just stand there, like and subscribe.
Yeah, do that favor, please, because as the community grows, we get more of this content out there, and people can enjoy it just like you guys are enjoying it. So, any questions, comments, concerns, hit up all my my contact info down below, and we will talk to you guys next week. Same time, same channel. This is working for me. This time actually is very good. And yes, I was a couple minutes late, but not an hour late or a day late and $1 short. So next week we'll do it again right here. Hope you join me again. And if you didn't get in onto comments tonight, make sure that you do so next week. Got a comment from Chang Fu. Excellent. Keep up the good work. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for checking in. So people are checking in now. Surely they will. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody for the support. If you have a comment, if you've got a concern, or you just want to speak offline, feel free to hit me up at any of those, any of my contacts down below. I check all my emails, I check all of my DMs, and I've seen a few, and I've definitely listened to a lot and taken in all your feedback and tried to integrate a lot of the things you guys have suggested with not only guests, but features and things that you guys would like to see on the channel. I've done my best to try to integrate those. And trust me, the ones that I haven't yet, they're on the back burner. I promise you, I'm working on some stuff too, guys. Future guests, I promise. In fact, next week I'll make some announcements on some future guests coming up. We've got some on the way. They're going to be a lot of fun. But last reminder here as I wrap things up, go check out that Sifu Mimi Chan interview that's live on the channel now. I'll leave the link, as I said, down below. And look forward to seeing the video of me going to get my tour of the new Martial Arts History Museum, now located in Glendale, was in Burbank. That's going to be a whole lot of fun to present to you guys. And any other comments, questions, concerns, feel free to leave them. Guys, stay safe. Have a great weekend. And early happy Mother's Day. And again, happy AAPI month. So much to be happy and grateful for. Guys, stay safe. See you all in the next round. And of course, keep punching.